Good morning, my lords.
I was going to open this video with some obscure anthro-language generator or something. It wouldn't surprise me if someone made up a whole dictionary of bird talk just for the memes. But then I did some searching around and I found out that not only is a bird translator an actual profession that real humans apparently get paid real money for, but also people have made apps to translate their cat or dog's noises into human speech. I don't know how legitimate or serious any of these enterprises are, and I'm not about to pay actual money to find out. So I thought I'd just share that information with you and let you all do with it as you see fit. But anyway, on with the real topic for today. After my last 4 videos were at something less than my standard bar, both in terms of quality and audience traction, and considering that it was what really first got this channel off the ground, I figured I'd come back to proper form by making another furry video. But not just for the views, of course. I wouldn't do myself or my viewers that disservice. No. I had a conversation with someone on one of those other videos wherein we talked about the history of humans' relations with the concept of human-animal hybrids, and how this evolved and changed with our culture and our world. And this is the angle I'd like to explore with you in easily digestible format here today. Now, before we go any further, I need to state up front that this is not going to be a history lesson. I can't, and thus won't, pretend to be any sort of expert on ancient folklore, mythology, cultures, or anything else of that sort. Nor will I claim to be a psychologist, psychoanalyst, or any other sort of professional brain witch. My main point will be to draw connections and parallels between the ancient accounts of beastmen and the modern-day furry cultural phenomenon to try to see what we can learn, or at least discern, from our ancient ancestors' relationship to all the complexly beautiful and diversely terrible bestiary of nature. Believe it or not, the concept of men, that is, humans, melding with other animals and vice versa, is a concept at least as old as fiction, and I would argue human sentience itself. Calling back to our commonmost primeval heritage while still reveling in our advantageous superiority to our fellow beast. And I choose the word reveling very deliberately. In the modern worldview, there exist 4 hierarchical tiers of beings, those of no mind, plants, fungi, bacteria, etc., those with some rudimentary intellect but no soul, non-human animals, God's favorite specimen, humanity, and those of celestial prominence, gods, angels, demons, spirits, ghosts, etc. In the pre-industrial, but still Anno Domini days, the world was populated by the 3 distinct realms of soulful man, soulless beasts, and transcendent eternals. In the pre-Christian pagan traditions, however, these lines were nowhere near so clear-cut. Now, admittedly, this had much more to do, in my opinion, with the greater physical proximity of man to his unshaven cousins than it did any sort of primeval enlightenment, as the New Age urban hippies who've probably never seen a real tree up close before like to imagine. But even long before that, in that mystical age when mankind was still just changing out of its diapers into the long johns of civilization, we find evident fascination with the already alien, but still not entirely estranged branches of our vast familial tree. From those eldritch eons straight through to the modern world of digital ecosystems, humans have seemingly never relinquished our paradoxical bond to, and at times perverse fascination with, the branchial scions of our oldest and deepest roots. The stark polarity of our, at times, infinite compassion, and at others burning animosity towards the so-called lesser or lower fauna would leave an extraterrestrial visitor with the impression that we and the beasts of the field and forest were former lovers, now arguing over who deserves what proportion of their formerly joint property. And if they then saw how strangely common the concept of human transmogrification, bestial gods, and animal brides were in our popular tales, they might also come away with the idea that we've somehow evolved a case of species-wide chronic abandonment issues and acute bipolar disorder. On the one hand, have you ever noticed just how many ways there are to insult a human by insinuating they are in some way either alike another animal or that they would want to fornicate with one? Seriously, just stop a moment and think about it. Why is it never a compliment to call another human a dog, or a rat, or a chicken, or a snake, or a sheep, or a pig, or a goat, or an ass? But on the other, there are just as many complimentary comparisons as negative ones. Consider the implications of being called a lion, a stag, a stallion, a bear, a bird, or a kitten. although your mileage may vary with some, depending on the context. But still, the point remains strong. And here's why I believe the furry concept is as utterly enrapturing to some of us as it is. These creatures, these strange exotic beings that are at once so like us in so many ways, and yet so utterly alien in all the ways that matter. These things that are birthed of our same soil, that share our water, our air, that are so near and yet so far removed from our world, our way of life, our way of thinking, of seeing ourselves and the world and each other. And the more you understand them, the more you want to learn about them and their lives, their ways, and their struggles. And the more you know, the more you realize you didn't know about life, the universe, and everything. And of course, as someone very shrewdly noted in the comments on one of my other furry videos, the very first thing humans will likely do if we ever someday meet extraterrestrials, once we're sure they don't want to either eat or nuke us, will be to try to work out how we can have sex with them.
Good day, sir!